If this is you, you've reached that point where you're just tired of caring so much, of chasing someone who only gives you half of what you give them. You still think about her, still replay every word, every silence. But lately, something inside you has started to go numb. You're realizing she doesn't text back the same, she doesn't ask how you've been, and the old you would have tried harder, sent another message, begged for her attention. But now, you're starting not to care, and it scares you a little. Because this time, it actually feels like you mean it. Maybe this feels familiar. That quiet moment when you stop checking your phone every 5 minutes, when her name pops up and instead of excitement, you just feel nothing. When you realize the one who once had the power to destroy your peace doesn't anymore. And yet, something strange starts to happen. The less you care, the more she starts noticing, the more distant you become, the more she starts losing control. It's almost unfair, isn't it? You spent nights overthinking, trying to prove your worth, but now that you finally let go, she's the one chasing ghosts, replaying memories, wondering what happened to the version of you who used to crave her. So what is it about a man's silence, about truly not caring anymore, that drives a woman to the edge? Why does walking away make her want you more than ever before? Most men get this wrong because they confuse not caring with pretending not to care. They think pulling away means ignoring her, acting cold, or trying to win the game. But true power, the kind that makes a woman start to feel your absence, doesn't come from fake indifference. It comes from emotional freedom. It's when you've genuinely reached that place where your peace matters more than her attention. You see, most men spend their energy reacting to her moods, her silence, her pullbacks. They think if they just do the right thing, she'll finally see their worth. But here's the truth: most guys never realize until they're broken. The moment you need her to see you, you lose all your power. Because the more you chase validation, the more she feels she's above you. And attraction can't survive in that imbalance. A woman starts losing her mind over you, not when you disappear, but when you detach with calm confidence, when your focus shifts from her to you, when your energy says, I'd love for you to be in my life, but I don't need you there to feel complete. That's the moment she feels the shift, because feminine energy is drawn to grounded masculine presence, not chaos, not chasing, but stillness. The core masculine principle here is this: a man who values his inner peace above all else becomes magnetic. He's no longer moved by games, silence, or emotional highs and lows. He becomes the eye of the storm, calm, centered, unbothered, and that calmness drives her crazy because she can't figure out why her old tactics no longer affect you. When you stop caring in the right way, not out of anger, not out of pride, but out of peace, she feels it. She senses the difference between a man who's walking away to make her jealous and a man who's walking toward his purpose. That's the point where everything flips, when she realizes she's no longer the center of your world. And that's exactly when she starts trying to find her way back into it. He sits on the edge of his bed, phone in his hand, screen glowing faintly in the dark, her chat still pinned at the top, typing, deleting, typing again, and then nothing. The silence stretches long enough to make his chest ache. He used to fill that silence with long messages, apologies he didn't owe, jokes just to keep her from drifting away. But tonight, something inside him is different. The weight in his chest feels heavy but steady, calm, like he's finally done chasing the echo of someone who stopped listening a long time ago. The city hums outside his window. Faint traffic, a dog barking, the rhythm of a world that keeps moving whether she texts back or not. He looks at the screen one last time, then presses the power button. The room goes dark for the first time in months. He lets it. No music, no noise, no scrolling. Just quiet. His mind wanders through all the moments he tried too hard. The late night calls she ignored, the long explanations she didn't read, the nights he mistook her silence for mystery instead of disinterest. And he whispers under his breath, almost like a confession, "I'm done." He doesn't mean it out of anger. There's no bitterness in his tone. Just truth, a kind of exhausted peace that comes when you stop trying to hold on to something that doesn't want to be held. He lies back, stares at the ceiling, and breathes. Deep, slow, steady. The ache is still there, but it doesn't control him anymore. Across town, her phone buzzes with a notification. She sees his name, but it's not a message. It's an old photo memory. Her thumb hovers over it longer than she expected. Something in her chest tightens. She opens her old chat, scrolls through the messages, all those paragraphs she used to skim, all the things he said that she didn't bother to feel at the time. And for the first time, she notices how quiet it's been, how long it's been since he reached out. She tells herself she doesn't care. She laughs it off, but the truth slips in through the cracks. The silence feels too loud now. She checks his profile, pretending she's just curious. He's been posting less. He's still different, not angry, not dramatic. just gone, present somewhere she's not invited, and it messes with her. He, on the other hand, is out walking the same street he once drove down, replaying arguments in his head. Tonight, the air feels lighter, the wind brushes his face, and for once, he's not thinking about what she's doing or who she's with. He's thinking about himself, what he wants, where he's going. There's no revenge, no game, just distance, a clean one. Days turn into weeks. She starts to feel the absence she once thought she wanted. His silence isn't a punishment, it's a mirror. It reflects back all the ways she took his presence for granted. She tries to post, to hint, to bait him into reacting, but nothing, and that's what drives her crazy because deep down she can feel it. He's not pretending this time. He's not using silence to get her attention. He's using it to find himself again. And as she scrolls through his name one last time, she finally understands. The moment he stopped caring wasn't when he gave up on her. It's when he finally came back to himself. A lot of men walk through this kind of pain thinking one thing, that if they stop caring, she'll notice, she'll miss them, she'll come running back. But here's the first truth you need to wake up to. You can't fake detachment. Women feel energy deeper than words if you're pretending not to. Care just to get a reaction. She'll sense it instantly. Because that's not strength, that's strategy. And strategies don't create attraction. They expose insecurity. What truly makes her start to lose her mind over you isn't your silence, it's your peace. It's when your absence feels different because you've actually moved on. Not because you want her to chase, but because you've remembered who you were before you started chasing her. There's a kind of power that comes when a man stops waiting for someone to validate him. It's quiet, it's calm, but it changes everything. The second lie most men believe is that caring makes them weak, that showing emotion, love, or loyalty somehow makes them less masculine. That's wrong. Caring isn't the problem. Caring without boundaries is. You didn't lose her because you cared. You lost yourself because you made her the center of your world. There's a difference between love and obsession, between giving and self-abandoning. And the moment you start loving from emptiness, she stops respecting it. Not because she's cruel, but because no woman feels safe leading a man's emotional world. Here's the truth. You don't regain power by pulling away. You regain it by returning to yourself. When your happiness, your purpose, your confidence no longer depend on her attention, she feels it, your silence becomes louder than your words ever were. Your absence becomes a mystery instead of a manipulation. Because now it's not about punishing her. It's about protecting your peace. And here's the part that flips everything. The moment you stop caring for her in order to get her back and start caring for you because you've neglected yourself too long, that's when the energy shifts. That's when she starts to notice the space she once filled is now occupied by something stronger, your self-respect. So let me leave you with this. She didn't ghost you. You disappeared from yourself. And one more. The moment you stop chasing her is the moment she starts remembering who you were before she broke your focus. This isn't about becoming heartless. It's about becoming whole again. You don't have to prove your worth through her reaction. You prove it through your peace. When you finally stop caring, not out of spite, not out of pain, but out of truth, she'll feel the shift because that's when she'll realize she didn't just lose your attention. She lost a man who finally found himself. The truth is, most men panic when a woman pulls away. They start overthinking every text, replaying every moment, wondering what they did wrong. But the 3% man, the man who operates from calm strength, doesn't move like that. He doesn't try to control her emotions, her choices, or the outcome. He controls his presence, his energy, his direction. This is what he understands. Love is not earned through effort. It's felt through energy. You can't convince someone to feel something that's no longer there. The 3% man knows that the harder you chase what's leaving, the faster it runs. So instead of clinging tighter, he releases with grace. He knows detachment isn't coldness. It's confidence. It's the deep knowing that whatever is meant for him can't be taken, and whatever leaves was never his to begin with. Most men confuse attachment with connection. They think wanting her deeply means needing her completely, but the 3% man sees it differently. He understands that a woman can only truly feel safe with a man who's safe within himself. A man who doesn't need to prove anything, explain anything, or force anything. His calm presence says more than 100 words ever could. This is how he leads, not with pressure, but with peace. He doesn't make her his purpose. He brings her into the life he's already building. That's the difference. While most men make a woman the mission, he already has one. He's not trying to fill a void through her. He's sharing his abundance with her. That shift changes everything because women feel when they're being made the source of a man's worth, and they pull away. But when she feels he's grounded in who he is, she's drawn in by the gravity of that energy. This is what he understands. Presence is power. When you're rooted in your truth, you stop reacting to everything she does. Her silence doesn't shake you. Her mixed signals don't define your mood. You start to move from a place of quiet certainty because you're no longer trying to win her. You're choosing peace over validation. That's what she feels when you stop caring in the right way. And here's the paradox. The moment he stops trying to get her back is the moment she starts feeling him again, because his energy shifts from need to choice, from I hope she wants me to I hope she's right for me. That's the mindset of a man who understands his worth. He doesn't chase. He tracks not through manipulation, but through stillness. He's not playing games. He's playing life. He invests in his growth, his health, his direction. He knows that women are drawn to men who move with purpose, not just toward her, but toward something bigger. And when she senses that, when she feels that strength of focus returning to him, it creates polarity. She starts wondering why the same man who once needed her validation now walks with quiet certainty. This is what separates him from the rest. He doesn't become colder, he becomes clearer. He doesn't stop caring about her. He stops needing her to care back in order to feel complete. Because the 3% man knows something most don't. When your peace becomes your priority, your energy becomes irresistible. That's how he wins. Not by chasing her love, but by mastering his own presence. And that's when everything starts to shift. Not because he forced it, but because he finally remembered who he is. He's sitting there, same chair, same quiet room, same glow of his phone screen lighting up the shadows. Her name still sits at the top of the messages, untouched for days. It used to be the first thing he checked in the morning, the last thing he stared at before sleep. That tiny green dot used to decide how his entire day would feel. But tonight, it's different. Something inside him feels still, not angry, not numb, just done. He scrolls up through old messages, old laughs, words that once made him feel seen, but instead of pain, he feels distance, the kind that doesn't ache anymore, the kind that frees. And as his thumb pauses over their last conversation, he suddenly realizes he's been waiting, not just for a text, not just for her to care again, but for her to give him permission to feel whole. He sets the phone down, face down, and leans back. For the first time in a long time, he listens to the silence, and it doesn't hurt. It feels honest, clean. He takes a deep breath, the kind that fills the chest instead of tightening it, and he whispers almost to himself, I'm not waiting anymore. In that moment, something breaks, but it's not his heart. It's the illusion that love means losing yourself. It's the belief that being enough for someone else requires forgetting your own worth. He looks around the room, same four walls, but suddenly they don't feel like a prison of overthinking. They feel like space that's his again. His thoughts start to shift from her silence to his peace, from her attention to his energy, from what did I do wrong to what do I want now? And that's the turning point. The quiet realization that his power was never in her reply. It was always in his ability to walk away with his dignity intact. He gets up, grabs his jacket, and steps outside. The night air hits different. It's colder, sharper, real. The streetlights stretch across the pavement, and for the first time, he doesn't feel small beneath them. He feels present. The world hasn't changed, but he has, because he's not looking for her shadow in every sound, every vibration, every empty moment. He remembers who he was before he started proving his worth, the man who had direction, laughter, simplicity, the man who was enough without having to earn it. And as he walks, that version of himself, the one buried under months of confusion, starts to breathe again. He smiles without meaning to, not because she texted, not because she came back, but because he finally did. That's when the truth sinks in. The moment he stopped caring about losing her was the same moment he found everything he'd lost within himself, his peace, his presence, his power, and somewhere out there she feels it, the pull, the shift, the silence that used to mean weakness now feels like mystery, because she can sense he's no longer waiting, and that realization stirs something she didn't expect, the fear of being forgotten by the man who once would have done anything for her. But he's already gone, not out of spite, not out of pride, but out of growth. He's walking towards something greater, something quieter, something that finally feels like home. The moment he stopped caring wasn't when he gave up on love. It's when he finally remembered how to love himself again. The moment you stop chasing her is the moment you meet the man you were always meant to be, the one who no longer needs to be chosen to know his own worth.